Hi, I'm that Walgreens enema bulb, Ian.
What the hell?
Happy Pride.
I don't even know what to say to that, and I didn't prep an intro, so hi, this is what happens when humidity takes effect on me, and it's just gonna grow and grow and grow. I'm Rae.
Welcome to Costume Couture.
We are celebrating
Yay.
Pride Month, just like everybody else who's not a huge bigot. And we are doing it by picking our top 10 LGBT plus heroes and villains for you. We will be discussing their characters a little bit, why we chose them, and we have a few combos because we just couldn't decide which one we like better than their partner.
Yeah.
So
it's a 2-for-1.
A few of them,
It's a twofer.
And let's face it, like, LGBT people love twofers.
And three-fers and fourfers and fiffers.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's Dr. Seuss creature. A fourfer and a fiffer. We're like walking along with the
We should write the first LGBT plus
Dr. Seuss person, Dr. Seuss novel. Yep.
With the 3-fers and 4-fers and 2
and fiffers and the Lorax.
And the Lorax
is the...
He speaks for the trees.
Yes.
Let's start, shall we?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
God, who's number one?
Well, I picked Apollo and Midnighter.
Okay.
As number one.
Who are they?
So, if
I don't know who the hell they are.
If you do not know, oh my god, this is just bullshit. Like, what the hell is going on?
Where are the people? Okay. Apollo and Knight Rider. Midnighter. Excuse me.
So, Apollo and Midnighter were created in the late 90s for Stormwatch, and then they were used in Authority by Warren Ellis. Ultimately, they were supposed to be everything that Superman and Batman represented, but everything they were not. So the two of them fought incredible villains from, the very beginning, and lo and behold, they're, lovers as well. In the first run of Authority, they even get married. And this was, I read the comic as it came out, and I loved it. And this was the first time I saw such open gayness from comic books.
Open gayness.
I'm not even kidding. Like, we talked about how there were some unspoken relationships before, and we all inferred that that's what they were getting at. But this was two grown men who looked like Batman, who looked like Superman, and they were killing villains on one panel, and then they got married on the other. So it was just a huge divergence from what I was also reading.
Are these DC or these Marvel people?
Okay, so now DC owns them. Okay. But Wildstorm Comics own them first.
Okay, because I feel like Patrick Star in that one little gif where he walks home and he sees all these eyeballs. He's like, "Who are you people?" That's how I feel about these people, because I don't know who the hell they are. Who are you people?
I would recommend you get the first 12 issues of Authority. It's incredibly well written. They're in 2 different trades now. They're really well done. And just
is DC using them right now or no?
DC is using both of them. Midnighter actually has his own comic right now, so Apollo is in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years, if they work out well, they join the Justice League, to be honest.
That would be cool. All right, cool.
Moving on.
So next up is the infamous duo of Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn.
We absolutely adore this couple so much, mainly because I am Poison Ivy.
And I am Harley Quinn.
It's so true. It's so true.
It's a little true.
I think fans were just finally relieved when these two got together.
Well, in the original cartoon, it was never, in the 90s, it was never, really said that either one of them was bisexual. In the comics, Ivy says, no man or woman can resist me, so that's kind of, her thing. But Harley was never just outright saying, hey, I like ladies too. But in one of the episodes of the animated series, her and Ivy are hiding out during Christmas, and there's only
it's called like Harley's Day Off or something like that?
It's Christmas, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it was made into the final season of the series.
Yeah.
And they're sharing a hotel room, and there's only one bed, and so they infer they must be sleeping in the same bed, and that kind of, sparked things, and you know, Ivy takes care of Harley. Ivy doesn't have very many human friends, if any.
Right.
So, you know, at first she saw Harley as a big sister, you know, little sister kind of thing. And then that relationship grew and grew. And then in Harley's own series that she has now, it's been, you know, confirmed that her and Ivy have been girlfriends for, you know, a while on and off. Still not the best relationship because Ivy still does like psychologically and mentally kind of abuse Harley.
Ivy,
but not physical like the Joker. So,
right.
But it's still not the greatest because Ivy does some messed up shit to her.
These are still villains.
Yes.
And that's what it comes down to. They're not going to ever have the best relationships because they're not the best people at heart. So while this relationship is 10 times better than Harley and Joker, the two of them still make their own mistakes. And Poison Ivy, in my opinion, is so cute when she's with Harley, but at the same time, she's a solitary person. She very rarely does team ups. She usually gets coerced into them because people are threatening her and her livelihood. So, you know, she's not the duo kind of person.
No, she's very solo and that's it.
Yeah. Harley Quinn does best when somebody is kind of, you know, giving orders, not bossing her around, but just giving orders. Harley Quinn is the best henchwoman ever written, and she's good as a follower.
She is, and that's another thing about Harley and Ivy's relationship is that, you know, Ivy took pity on Harley because of what Joker was doing to her.
Exactly.
And, you know, took her in and immunized her from, you know, Ivy's toxins and, you know, all that good stuff so they could be together and Harley could be around Ivy without dying, basically.
Right.
And it's blossomed. Like I said, it's still not the healthiest relationship. It's a little bit better than her and Joker, depending on what version you're looking at. Everything, nothing relationship-wise really ever happens like good for Harley. It always just ends up kind of...
I'm going to keep defending it because we all have bad qualities that we bring to relationships and toxic behaviors. And even this is a huge lesson I've had to learn in 2018. Two good people can still be toxic for each other because their flaws mismatch.
Yes.
You know, they're not bad people.
Right.
So honestly, I would have been completely satisfied if these two just stayed best friends because best friends... legitimate best friends in comics is so rare.
Yes, I agree.
Even that would have been fine, but to have that turn into a romance and become a couple was also very refreshing.
Yes, I agree. I've been fine with them being super best friends, and now they're super best friend lovers. So.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Next up is the Iceman cometh.
Iceman!
Literally.
So Iceman has been around since the 1960s.
He was one of the original X-Men.
Yes. And he was in the movies, played by Sean Astin, and no, that's not his name.
No. Ashmore.
Ashmore, there we go. Sean Ashmore.
I think isn't Sean Astin, isn't that the Hobbit?
Yes, it is. Totally is, yeah. Thank you for catching me on that. Like, he's done two things. He's done the X-Men movies, and he's done Animorphs. So what do you want from me? All right. Anyway.
He took the ring to Mordor. And...
So, Iceman, recently though, within the last 5 years, has come out as gay. And he...
Wasn't it an alternate timeline though, Iceman, or was it legit Iceman? Because I thought it was alternate.
It started as alternate timeline.
Right, okay.
It's like whenever they want to make a character black or something, they start with the alternate timeline, like Wally West. And then eventually that just takes over.
There we go. Okay.
They get involved in it. So the same thing happened. What I loved about what they did with Iceman is they made him struggle with his sexuality in comparison to some other people where it comes so easy for them, which is great too. He struggled with it. He had no idea how to identify himself. He definitely knew that he liked men. He wasn't quite sure what labels he wanted to take on, and he used Jean Grey as a confidant in X-Men Blue. So I really liked how he had a personal journey along with it.
Yes, it's, you know, was he still a teenager is he still a teenager in this, or is he adult?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay. So it's, you know, it parallels also a lot of real world queer and LGBTQ youths struggling with their identity and struggling with, you know, how they want to be labeled, if they do want to be labeled, what their sexuality is, who they're attracted to. It paralleled a lot of that, which is something that a lot of people can read in the comics and go, oh, that's very relatable. I get that. That's cool. This
Absolutely.
character's going through this. I'm going through the same thing. Maybe what they do can help me with my coming out process or finding out who I really am.
And it completely makes sense that it's an X-Men, because X-Men since the beginning has been an allegory for persecuted groups in this country, and Black people in general and gay people have always identified with X-Men or seen the parallels. And it's about damn time that there were some gay X-Men.
Yes. Ian McKellen, who plays Magneto in the live action movies, older Magneto, has said many times in interviews that, a lot of people come up to him saying, thank you for being an X-Men. Not only are you a gay man, but you, are in a movie that is about oppression. It's about, all this stuff. So thank you for making it extra real for us.
Yes.
So, and he talks about that a lot in interviews too. So if you want to Google
it's
that.
It's kind of important that he's also playing Magneto, who is part of the Holocaust.
Yes. It's X-Men wrapped around a whole bunch of
persecuted people.
Just, they don't get they always get the short end of the stick when they get,
right.
Yeah.
Now, I picked Wonder Woman as my next pick.
You did.
And this is one of those that has been a tell, not show. And I'm not a fan of those LGBT plus characters, because don't retroactively tell me that this character is gay or pan or bi and then never, ever, ever put it in the comics.
Right.
But Wonder Woman, since the beginning of her writing, has been such a fighter for the outsider, for the outcast, for the minority. And I selected like a panel that you'll see in the video where she's officiating a gay wedding, and she basically says that, she comes from an island full of women, that marriage there isn't gay marriage, it's just marriage.
It's just marriage, yeah.
So that while it doesn't say the words, hey, it's also including me in this.
Right.
I get it. I appreciate that attitude. It totally makes sense. Love and romance and sexual feelings come to the majority of people, and you can't deny that if that was just your population, you would develop feelings for somebody at some time.
Right.
If you didn't know there's another option, then you choose from your option. So I love that Wonder Woman has been retroactively labeled as at least bisexual.
Right, because she has a relationship with Steve Trevor.
Multiple times she's been in relationships with Superman.
And Superman too.
She flirted with Batman in the Justice League cartoon, but nothing ever really came of it into a relationship. But she was officially with Superman during New 52, and I will say their team up comic book was beautiful. It was great.
It was. No, I love that, she's on an island with Amazonian women, and, I'm pretty sure also Amazonian women were also, not, gay, but they also liked women as well. Some of them were gay, some of them weren't. Going back to even like, Xena, the TV show.
Yeah. With
her and Gabby.
Yeah.
That's a huge kind of, she was an Amazonian warrior, right?
The Amazons lived exclusively. They would meet up with men every once in a while to make babies.
Right.
And if they had boys, they would ostracize them, return them to their fathers. And if they had girls, they would raise them as Amazons. So even in the original Greek myths, like the Amazons lived without men. And you can't tell me that these women went, hundreds of years as a society without looking over and being like, hey, Diana, you look great.
Right? Like that shawl around your titty looks good. I probably wouldn't say it like that. They'd be more, eloquent.
Of course.
Than my stupid self, but, it's whatever.
I wanted to also include a video game character.
The Vidget games?
I fought in my head over whether or not I was going to use Bayonetta. Or my choice. I officially went with Tracer because she is less sexualized, and I completely believe that Bayonetta was made gay as a sexual targeting for male audiences.
A marketing ploy?
Yes. Yeah,
I
I kind
can
of like
see
how
that, yeah.
Dead or Alive's boobs jiggle. Like, I didn't think it was for representation. I thought it was
To play into the male fantasy and
Right.
get the coins.
So I chose Tracer because when they when Blizzard said that she was gay, I felt that it was a very natural step for her character. I thought revealing it in the current comic line, which if you just play the game and not read the comics, you're missing out on so much backstory.
You won't know who it is. Who is she in a relationship with?
Her girlfriend's name is Emily.
And she's not a superhero.
She is
right?
not a superhero.
Okay.
Again, a lot of people wanted it to be Tracer and Widowmaker together, but that does not make any sense story-wise.
Funny enough,
that's why they skipped
they
it.
shipped them way before, Blizzard even came out saying, hey, this person is gay.
Yeah.
I think they just shipped it for that male masturbatory fantasy. But,
again,
they said, okay, we're going to run with it. We're not going to sexualize him and be, perverted like you guys were, but we're going to make this a valid character in the community.
And they revealed it in such a cute scene. Tracer gives her girlfriend Emily a scarf for Christmas, and they're hanging out with Winston, who, if you don't know, is the giant intelligent gorilla.
Yes.
So he is sharing this moment with them, and it's so innocuous, and that's what I love during LGBT stories, because if the story is about Tracer being a superhero, you shouldn't divert to her like waving a big pride flag all of a sudden. That doesn't make any sense. She should be rescuing the world, but having a sweet moment in her off time between the woman she loves is great.
And it's a quick one too. It's not a drawn out panel. It's just she opens the gift and then they kiss.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that is confirmed. That's that thing. Yep. Speaking of kisses and women kisses.
Women kisses.
We have Batwoman, another DC entry.
Yes.
She, Cassandra Cain.
Kate Kane.
Kate Kane. Oh, I say Cassandra. Kate Kane.
Because Cassandra Cain is Black Bat.
That's it.
She was a black Bat girl.
I know
she's Black Bat.
She was Bat something. I knew there was a Bat in there.
But they spell the Canes differently because
yes.
Catherine Kane is spelled like Bob Kane.
Yes, which is a no to him.
And Cassandra is spelled Cain.
But she's in a relationship with Detective Renee Montoya, who was on the GCPD.
When her comic book first launched,
yes. I don't know if she is now still or not.
I don't think so.
But Batwoman, I don't know if this is true or not for the DC universe. I can't, but she was the first one, at least, that I saw, was the first lesbian superhero character in the DC universe that was legit, they said, hey, this is who she is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the truth or not, but that's the first one that at least I saw.
So Batwoman was a minor, forgettable character back in the 1960s, kind of spawned up during
this is the Silver Age of comics?
Campy 1960s era of Batman, and she was completely forgotten about. In the 90s, they tried again with Who is the Batwoman?
That was the animated series movie. That was horrible.
It was not one of their better ones.
No.
The Mr. Freeze one, 10 times better.
Yes.
Yeah, it was not good. And then in 2005, they launched her comic book, and they put out news articles. Like, I remember reading about this in a newspaper.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the entertainment section of Casey Star. They talked about how Batwoman was going to have her own comic book. She was going to be gay. She was going to have a girlfriend, and she was going to do things that Batman wouldn't do to his villains.
AKA killing them.
Yeah, a little bit. So she comes in swinging like a badass, and this was before we had the internet trolls and the people who tried to call it forced diversity that we're having right now. So her comic sold out, and it's still selling really well.
Yes.
And they have kept the LGBT as part of her identity. They don't change it in the alternate timelines, which, sometimes they do fiddle with that stuff.
But glad they kept that the same.
Even in the Bombshell comic, she's still a gay woman.
Yep. She's been added into a lot of the animated movies that DC's been putting out.
And now she's going to be added to the Arrowverse.
Yes, the big crossover event, the next one.
This fall, yeah.
Yes,
Every fall they come out.
We'll see if she is still true to her character in that. They may change it, they may not.
Well, the Arrowverse has also been very LGBT friendly.
Yes, they have.
Sadly, usually just with women and not with men, but I'm sure they'll work on it, and I can't imagine them taking that away.
I would hope not, because you'll make a lot of people pissed if you do.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it's a great relationship. It's a great character. If you want to really strong female character that doesn't take shit from anyone, I would recommend picking up Batwoman.
Agreed.
Next up is Wiccan and Hulkling.
They're my favorite Young Avengers.
These two little twinks.
They're both twinks.
Well, one's a twink, one's a twonk. Hulkling's a twonk. I think Wiccan's a twink.
Definitely.
So Wiccan is the son of Scarlet Witch, right?
Yes.
Or is he the son or the clone?
I don't know.
I feel like he's the son of Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
That sounds right, because his name is Wiccan, so that would make only sense. And then Hulkling is, I don't know, how did he become Hulk?
He's an alien.
He's an alien, okay.
He's not a Hulk. He looks like Hulk.
That's it.
I think he's part Skrull.
Okay. And they have an adorable relationship. They are really, really cute together.
There's a lot of panels with them because they started the Young Avengers comic with them in a couple. They didn't even bother with the romance story starting up. They didn't give them their romantic comedy. They already started with their happily ever after. So we see them go through as being young gay teenagers to an engaged couple, breaking things off here and there and learning and growing from each other. So you see them battle side by side. You see them spat back and forth.
Yep.
You see them
have a relationship.
Yeah. And that's the best way to do this is normalize it. Give them all the perks and downfalls of relationships.
You see them in bed together. You see them,
like cuddling.
Yeah, you see them in compromising positions. You see them in, fighting. You see them having loss on each other. It's, it's a great little relationship. And I kind of want them to come to the MCU, but it probably won't happen until 2045.
Here's the thing. I actually believe that Young Avengers is coming sooner rather than later because
of what's happening with...
Word on the street is Cassie Lang's going to be aged up, and Cassie Lang plays Stinger, and she is part of the Young Avengers. So, and Ms. Marvel's coming too, so I feel like Young Avengers will be Phase 5, Phase 6.
Okay.
So within the next 5 to 7 years, I'm going to just predict that right now.
I'll put it at 10, but yeah.
Okay. Next 5 to 10 years, Young Avengers may be coming. So not 2040, maybe 2030.
Close. And then, is this our last person?
No, it's not. We have
That's our last person. Okay,
we have two more.
We have...
He can't count to 10 with...
I can't. I don't know what number we're on, but there's no numbers on the slides, lady.
I'm so sorry.
So our next person is our first pansexual person, I believe, on the list. And that is everyone's favorite merc with a mouth, Deadpool.
Yes.
Deadpool has very famously just spouted out that he likes everyone. Basically, if they have a hole, he'll fuck it.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah. And he has like a crush on Peter Parker a lot of times.
Crush on Thor.
Crush on, I'm pretty sure Tony Stark at one point too.
And then he's hit on Domino before. He obviously has a relationship with Vanessa in the movie.
Yes.
So it's not like this man goes without loving things. He kind of just lets both his heart and penis guide him.
Yes. Oh, that's a good, yeah, that's good.
And he goes with it. He just blurts things out. And I honestly believe that they started having him hit on guys in the comics as comic relief. Right. And it just turned into, well, why can't we just make this a thing?
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, these jokes stick. Maybe we can actually do something with it. And ta-da. Now, I don't believe he's actually had a relationship with a man yet.
I actually don't believe he's had a long-term relationship with a woman in the comics either.
Oh, true.
Like, I mean, not something that's lasted for years and years and years. It's not like Superman and Lois where we can count on it, or even Wiccan and Hulkling where they go side by side. But I think Deadpool just has these one-night stands or a couple issue relationships and then they're done. Because of the nature of his character, it makes sense.
I would love to see in X-Force, in the movie that's supposed to be happening with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, I would love to see him with some male
I would see with
romances.
Peter.
Yeah, well, you can't.
They took that back at the end. Peter's alive. Did you not stay for the...
Peter? Peter who? Oh,
Sugar Bear.
Okay, I'm thinking. I thought Peter Parker at first. You were saying no, they can't do that.
No.
There's that's why.
No.
Sorry,
although
internet.
The internet has written a really great way to they hire.
They have, I saw that.
Garfield.
Yes.
That would be adorable.
But no, I'm like, they can't have Peter Parker.
No,
Yes,
no,
Sugar Bear. Sugar Bear, yes.
Because I don't want him to just hook up with another superhero like every single movie we've seen. I think having him in a relationship with Peter is so much better.
And we do see him kind of have some sexual advances towards Colossus.
He hits on Colossus all throughout.
He grabs his ass in the second one. He kind of just cups it and just holds it there for a little bit.
And at the end of the movie, when he's asking him to come back to the team after he's hurt Colossus's feelings, like he does it in the Say Anything way, which was a dauber romantic move.
Yes.
So
Deadpool, he's our favorite little pansexual merc with a mouth.
And currently, as far as I know, he's the only pansexual comic book character between DC and Marvel.
Do you consider this one, though, pansexual? Because of what this character can do?
Let's talk about that.
Okay. So our next character we have is another Marvel character, and that is Mystique.
So earlier we referenced that during the 90s, there was a lot of gay-ish relationships.
And 80s, too.
And you just had to infer what they were doing, because nobody would ever come out and say, well, Mystique headed up the Brotherhood in the early 90s X-Men comics, and her second in command was Destiny, and she relied so hard on Destiny as a member. And soon it was shown that she's a friend and then a confidant. And then it just flat out said, well, Mystique and Destiny raised Rogue.
Yes.
I completely inferred it as a teenager going back and rereading these.
Yeah. Mystique, that was her most, I guess, famous relationship with the woman was with Destiny. And yes, both her and Mystique raised Rogue. For those of you who don't know, Rogue was the adopted daughter of Mystique and Destiny, and Mystique has a bunch of kids from a bunch of different people.
She has Nightcrawler and Great and Creed as well.
Yes. So she, they couldn't, and Mystique being a shapeshifter, they couldn't show her shapeshifting into a man and being with Destiny. They wanted to at one point, but they could not do it because of legality reasons and big no-nos.
Yeah.
So it's a fine, I don't know, would you consider Mystique to be bisexual? What would you consider her to be?
So in the Jason Aaron run of Wolverine, it's 4 issues, and he has Wolverine say that Mystique would fuck anyone. And he is mad at Mystique at the time. He calls her a whore, which I hate that word, and I hated that it was used in a PG-13 comic, but it was. And there are other implications in that, so I tried to spin it as positively in my head as I could, and just, I want to assume that because of her identity, because she could become anyone and everyone, she wouldn't have those hang-ups, and, maybe she goes labelless, because...
Yeah, I can see her being who she is, I can see her not wanting a label.
Yeah.
For sure. I also like how, in certain, because she's been a secret spy for some missions and stuff like that, she's had, covert affairs with men and women for her job. So, I kind of consider her as pansexual, but that's just me. Personally, I don't think she herself would have a label to it. Maybe in the new movies. I doubt it. We'll see Destiny ever in the new movies, but it would be nice to see her in Destiny.
That'd be neat.
In a few movies, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And then finally, our last pick of the day is...
Catwoman.
Yeah.
So Catwoman was the last member of the Gotham City Sirens to come out.
Yeah, she's the newest one of the DCs.
And she has a panel that just says, I'm bisexual.
Yeah.
And that was great. They...
Flat out just bam.
Yep, she's just informing the bats.
Yep.
And there's a couple of flashbacks in the comics where she was shown having a relationship with a woman.
Yep.
So that was nice as well. But it was never a huge part of her identity. And obviously she just married Batman.
Yes.
So, but that's a huge part of bisexuality is if you're in a gay relationship, that doesn't make you a lesbian. It makes you bisexual. And if you're in a straight relationship, doesn't make you heterosexual.
Right. Just because she married Batman and she more so prefers men over women does not exclude or erase her bisexuality.
Correct.
And that's for any relationship ever, like in real life too. So don't anyone, tell that to you, because I hear that so many times that it pisses me off.
Yeah.
But she,
Well, I always find that, like, after our panels, I have one or two of my followers come up to me and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were LGBT. And I was like, well, I'm bisexual. Aren't you dating a man? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Correct.
So I have to say I'm bisexual in a monogamous heterosexual relationship, and then they shut up and walk away.
There you go.
But I shouldn't have to, like, give my entire biopic.
No, you shouldn't. But I like that, people inferred a lot of the time as well. This is a character people inferred, like, oh, Catwoman, she's, a seductress. She plays around. She's got to play with women too. Like, that doesn't mean that.
I don't know if I ever inferred that, but I always saw her as a hypersexual person.
She is.
And I really feel like her sexuality in the terrible 2004 movie, while that movie is terrible, it shows her being very sexual with Sharon Stone.
Yes.
And I think maybe that was the turning point. They were like, let's do this.
Well, that, and I think also with the Gotham City Sirens series that ran before the New 52 happened, people thought, oh, they're three women living together. Ivy and Harley already kind of have a
They were already out. They were in a relationship by that time.
They had things going on with them.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Catwoman be a part of that as well?
Well, I think that, again, is part of the straight male, like, masturbatory fantasy.
Yes.
And when I first read that comic, I was not out, and I wasn't even, like, thinking about it at the time.
Right.
And I was like, how likely is it that three bisexual women, like, room together? It is very likely.
It is.
It is very likely. Like, 90% of my female friends are bi or pan, or like...
There's something along there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, yeah, totally, like...
Right? It's reality, folks. All right, so that is the end of our list.
Obviously, we left out a lot. Like, didn't talk about North Star.
There are a lot of people
Shatterstar.
Yes. Obviously, we can't fit them all into this little.
So maybe next year
thing.
We do a part 2.
We
for
do
Pride.
Yes. Speaking of Pride, have a very happy and safe Pride, everyone. It can be a great month. It can also be sometimes a shitty month, depending on what's going on, especially with this
Black History
world.
Month and Women's History Month and Hispanic History Month are the exact same.
Yes.
It's something to celebrate, but also something to be vigilant about.
Yes. So always remember, love yourself, be true to who you are.
Don't buy into that. Don't feed the trolls. Go to war for your friends. Stand by yourself. Defend yourself. That whole, like, for 10 plus years, we normalized abuse on the internet by not feeding them, by taking the high road, and that's not good anymore. Stick up for yourself.
Yes. And, also just if you want any, reference links to LGBT, Q youth or questionnaires, we're going to put a link down below for the Trevor Project. Click on it. Go visit their site. It's a great site, great organization. I support it wholeheartedly.
Agreed. HPN supports it.
Yes. So go check it out. Have a happy Pride. Go suck some dick. Go lick some pussy. Go save me. I don't know. Do something. Say something.
Get your groove on, man.
I like how I'm saying just suck everything, and yours like, get your groove on. Just blanket statement.
Yeah. I mean, have fun. Be sexual.
Yeah. But
or just
be safe.
Happy.
Be safe when you do it, though. Yeah. Not like me. Be safe.
He's not the best spokesperson, but he's our spokesperson.
Yep. And what you got, folks. Come to terms with it.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
I'm not the best spokesperson.
But you're our spokesperson.
I know. I'm the only one you got, damn it.